Hey friends, Lucian here with the Bullish Bears team. Wanted to make this video on the falling three methods pattern. Essentially, it is a bear flag with three small candlesticks that kind of move back, right? So if you look down here, you can see falling, you know, basically put this together as the flagpole, followed by some consolidation right up over here, three small candlesticks, and then obviously continuation downward, so falling three. So it's falling three candlesticks kind of back, smaller candlesticks before it continues downwards. Again, nothing's always 100% foolproof. Doesn't mean just because there's three candlesticks that it won't continue upwards. You got to be aware of obviously that fourth candlestick. But again, I'm going to show you several examples in this video. So like if you zoomed out here, you can like see many different patterns within this, right? You got to draw your trend lines and then zoom in and see like patterns within the patterns. And then you got to drill in and see something like this falling three methods. This falling three methods is a pattern within a bigger overall pattern. So you can see a pattern here, right? But if I zoom out further, there's also a bigger overall pattern. So you can see like I could draw, let's say, a triangle, right? Just kind of see if I can kind of gauge one up here, right? I can draw a triangle right up here. It might not be perfect. Let me just see here. Draw my triangle up here, or kind of a wedge, rising wedge kind of pattern, and then zoom in, and then I can see, oh, this is kind of like a V bottom or kind of a cup and handle, right? So there's a V bottom, cup and handle, still telling a very, very similar story. Again, many patterns will look like other patterns, and then you zoom in here and you have a falling three methods within a bigger overall pattern. And falling three, you might want to just call it a bear flag. Many people just call it a bear flag, and that's totally fine to do. Many people, you might call this a V bottom or a U bottom. Many people call triangles pennants or pennants triangles or flags wedges. That's okay. The most important thing to remember is support and resistance and what the patterns are telling you. And the fallen three is telling you, okay, price is falling, wants to naturally pull back to the moving average lines. It starts to get towards the oversold level, wants to move back to the moving average lines, and then you got to see what's going to happen. Is it going to continue to fall, or is it going to reverse and get back above the moving average lines and continue further, right? Let's look at several other examples. We'll look at XEL, and you'll see here price is fallen, right? So it's fallen, a little bit of consolidation, fell right back down, and then you'll see three small candles here. You'll see a little doji candle on the third one right over here. So it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to have a specific size, real body. Ideally, you want the candlesticks to be kind of smaller, that consolidation, right? So price has fallen, it's kind of oversold. It's not going to always be oversold, but when a stock is oversold, be aware of it, right? And then price moves back to the moving average lines, and then it falls. Now you might have 5 or 6 candlesticks or 2 candlesticks in here when something like this is happening. So if you have anything more or less than 3 candlesticks, it's not a falling 3, but it still could be a bear flag. You could have a bear flag with 2 candlesticks, 4 or 5 or 6. Just got to be able to draw these flags, see what's happening, what's going on towards the moving average lines, and then see like what's happening in the bigger overall trend and the pattern within the patterns as well, right? SRPT. Going to show you several other examples. You can zoom in over here so you can see price is falling, 1, 2, 3 candlesticks, and then it starts to fall. Again, it may reverse and go up. Doesn't always have to fall, but many times it's a very good indicator. Again, be able to draw these flags, see what's happening, and then when price starts to fall outside of the flag, it might continue downwards like it did here, right? AEE. Where is this one over here? You can see big long drop here, big red candlestick, 1, 2, 3. You can see it's got some shadows over here. You can see the flag kind of pattern right over here, and then price falls right down, right? You'll see these fallen threes and in many different shapes and sizes. Sometimes they're bigger candlesticks. Sometimes they're smaller. Again, just got to be able to be aware of the support and resistance and how to draw it. You can see this one right here, a little bit funkier, right? So price is falling. 3 candlesticks. They aren't totally green. There is a third one. It's kind of a red doji, but it's still a doji. Still showing consolidation, indecision. Flag's not going to be perfect on this one. Kind of got to get a gauge. And obviously, this third test didn't get above these 2 previous highs. Price fell. And as it's fallen, it's still a green candlestick, right? So again, this is like, it's not always going to be like, oh, it's going to fall and it's going to show red. Like it's fallen, it's still kind of holding green right here. It's starting to fall out. And then this one, bulls came back in and saved it, right? These are real world patterns. I want to show you real stuff. Some that look perfectly, and then again, some that are not so perfect. Very, very important when trading because not everything's always going to be perfect. Red candlestick down, so price has fallen here. You can see some consolidation kind of upwards like over here, right? And then gets a little bit funky. Another like a green candlestick, but it fell out and then it went back up over here and kind of trade downwards. So it doesn't mean it's always going to fall down forever. You can have some of this trading sideways. You know, you got to watch the patterns and then the patterns within the patterns. Let's take a look at A. You can see right here, price is falling. You can see a bear flag here. This has got 2, right? So 2. So this is very important to see, right? Price has fallen, 2 falls down. Then you can see up right here, a little bit of a flag here. This one has 3. You see how this is still telling the same story as this? Just has 2 candlesticks rather than 3. Very, very important to know. It's still telling you, again, the same thing. It's bear flagging. So whether you want to call it a fallen 3 or a bear flag, it's still telling you the same story. Price is falling, wants to consolidate back to the moving average lines. Price is fallen, price wants to consolidate back to the moving average lines. If it fails, it's going to potentially continue downwards. If it starts to break above the moving average lines, that's a potential reversal, right? Let's take a look at CLR. Okay, so this one right here, you're going to see this one has basically 4 candlesticks, right? So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So that might not be a falling 3, but it's still telling you the same story. And as you can see, it's bear flagging on the way down, right? So it's a real world pattern, still telling you the same thing as the falling 3, but it just took a little bit, another candlestick or so before it fell. EXTR, a little bit of a different story. So you have some bigger candlesticks, right? So you have 3 bigger green ones. And then you can see that little bit of a red doji in there, a long-legged kind of doji inside of there before it fell. See, it's still telling you the same similar story, just some bigger candlesticks. Added in a little bit of a 4th one there, kind of indecision, battle between the bulls and the bears. And then as you can see, kind of traded sideways before it started to fall. So again, it's still a bear flag until it kind of can reverse and go up forward, but you could also call it a falling wedge as well, right? Or rising wedge, and then it falls out. So basically like a rising wedge could look like a bull flag, could also be part of a rise, what do I want to call it here right now? A fallen 3. See how it gets so confusing when you do these, There's so many, like, again, you can call like a pennant a triangle, you can call a flag a wedge. It gets confusing. So whatever you want to call things at times, just know what the story that is trying to be told is. And as you can see, the story here is price has fallen, it's getting oversold, it wants to consolidate back to the moving average lines. Sometimes you'll have smaller candlesticks, sometimes you'll have bigger ones. And then be aware of what happens at these moving average lines. Very critical support and resistance area.